Oh, just dump them in the floor. Fish on!
Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, April the 16th, presented by Mercury. We're going to head on up to Guntersville and talk to Tom Ott. We're going to connect with Josh Herron and talk Logan Martin and Lay Lake. And then we're going to join the circus that is Lee Pitts up there on Weiss Lake and also discuss Neely Henry. We'll be right back with what everybody has to say. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, April the 16th, presented by Mercury. Yes, yesterday was tax day. Forget all that ugliness. We're going to talk to Tom Ott and find out what's great about Lake Guntersville in the springtime. Tom, what's going on up there on that big puddle?
Man, Dano, everything is happening right now. I mean, the trees are blooming, the bass are busting, the crappie are biting like crazy, the bluegill are moving up shallow. It's just, it's a wonderful time. I mean, the world's coming alive. I mean, it's great. It's great. But, I tell you, right now, we kind of came out of a little funk last week. And I guess that's a spawn thing. Water level was a little low. We talked about that, but there's some empty beds out there right now, and we've got this full moon. So I know we're gonna see another big wave come on, and it's kind of getting to that point where you can catch fish really shallow, or you can catch fish out in those intermediate depths that are starting to chase the bluegill and that kind of thing. So it's coming on to be a really excellent shad spawn, maybe here in a week or two, couple of weeks. I'm thinking we're seeing some low 60s. So it's going to get hot, and that's, I think that's everybody's favorite time is, shad spawn time. So.
Well, I tell you what, it's going to be weird because the spawn hasn't gone yet. You haven't seen the major waves. I think that's a water level thing, but you're going to have bass spawn at the same time as the shad spawn, and that's going to create like short circuit in people's minds. All right, let's talk about crappie. You mentioned the crappie were going off. I know you can do just about anything right now and catch a bass, even some good ones. But what's going on in the crappie bite?
I tell you, the crappie have really started to move into that grass, and they're finishing up with that spawn, but they're still up there hanging out and eating minnows, that kind of thing. So really the best bite right now is get you a cork, a bobber, or, whatever you want to call it, and put you a minnow on there and take your kids out fishing and catch some crappie. There's some big old slabs out there. And like I said, the bluegill are coming in as well. So, shell cracker time is coming just right around the corner.
So are you going to do the old cane pole, big old forearm, Popeye forearms with a 12-foot pole and get out there and do some tule dipping for some of them shell crackers?
I think we just use a big old cane pole to push the boat around a little bit. But, there's nothing finer than finding a bunch of shell cracker on bed. It is just amazing when you get that going on.
Well, and also don't forget, guys, if you're seeing bluegill beds up shallow, a green pumpkin swim jig just off of them might be good. Hey, Tom, thanks so much for what you're doing. We appreciate everything. And no, my job is not to keep secrets. It's to share yours. Have a great weekend, buddy.
All right, you too, Dano. Y'all be good out there. Tight lines.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, April the 16th. Welcome to our circus. We got Josh Herron, who spends a bunch of time down there on Logan Martin and Lay Lake, and he's breaking in that new Mercury. Josh, tell us what's going on that end of the river.
Mud, water, more of the same. So, Mother Nature's got a sense of humor. He's got to. So, but no, man, I think we're setting up for a really good spring. And there's big fish cruising all over the place right now. They're not the easiest things in the world to catch, but it's just as much fun to look at them. So, I mean, it's going to be one of those deals, kind of like we were talking about last week. Spotted bass are still doing their things on gravel, little hard places, and kind of make that your morning deal. Shaky heads, as stupid as it sounds, man, it's probably the easiest way in the world to catch them. It's kind of like blind bed fishing is all you're doing. And then as the sun gets up, man, go put on your spectacles and go look for the fish of a lifetime, because there's definitely a few of them swimming around right now.
Well, why the shaky head in the spawning bays is a blind casting thing as opposed to like a Senko or a wacky rig stick bait or something like that?
Man, this primarily a spotted bass thing. I mean, you can do the Senko thing, you can just kind of cover a lot more ground, and the shaky edge really a feel thing. Like, I mean, it gets really chunky where those fish kind of spawn, and they'll kind of sit in those little holes in that gravel and all, and they'll make their beds in it. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a feel thing. You know, like when you start really getting into that gravel and you're pulling it across it, I mean, you can feel you're pulling through gravel. And essentially, it's blind bed fishing. You're taking a bait and you're dragging it right in the middle of their bed and hoping they just kind of react to it. Another really good option that's kind of a thing of days gone by is like a really light Carolina rig. Spotted bass, like a lizard. They like ring fries. All the things you learned to grow up fishing with that you hated are really good this time of year, especially for dragging around on those hard places to catch spawning fish. Largemouth, a whole different animal. It's those jokers are smart. They are, and man, they're cruel here too. It's not the easiest place in the world to bed fish, but man, it's fun when you actually get the opportunity to.
Well, it sounds to me like fishing right now on Logan Martin and Lay Lake is much like when you were going clubbing when you were in college. Fun to look at them, even if you don't catch them. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, April the 16th, presented by Mercury. Tax day was yesterday. Time to blow off that stress and look at and listen to the most beautiful man in the world, Lee Pitts, up there at Weiss Lake, slinging some crappie around. Lee, what's happening up there on Weiss?
Well, we got some sunshine, a little bit of wind still, but yeah, we're out here getting with it. This week has been a little bit of everything. You know, we've had some weather issues, but one day you'll catch them real good. The next day it's slow, but it's our typical springtime. But man, we're catching fish. The sun's out. Things are looking pretty good right now. Today's been a little slow starting out, but the fish are starting to pull back up. Still out deep, you know, nothing's really hit the banks yet. Starting to catch some good size. You know, we're catching bigger fish now. Some of the big females are staging up where we can catch them, and you know, things are looking good in the crappie world up here on Weiss.
All right, so that's the crappie bite. What's going on with the bass up there at Weiss?
Well, it always happens. We got two big events coming up, and I think those big females have kind of got up there where they want to be, and they've sold up, not doing too much. I think the large are trying to get. It's been one of those deals you can see with the weights coming in. You know, we went from really catching some big fish and everybody catching bass, and now they're struggling. The spots are still biting a little bit, but some of these largemouth, especially upriver, they've locked on bed, and it's just that time of year. We're just waiting them out. You may have to aggravate them a little bit to get them to pick something up. Still got a lot of stained water upriver, but most largemouth are to bed right now.
So talk about Neely Henry now, below that Weiss Lake Dam. What's happening at Neely?
Neely, with the crappie now, they're starting to really come into the docks, getting in some of the shallower water. I think with some of the bays down there, these fish they don't have to travel quite as far to jump up on these flats. So from what I'm hearing from Neely, they're really starting to catch the crappie down there, and it's looking good there. You know, it's the time of year. Hey man, it's that's what crappie live for. So it's the time of year they're starting to do it.
So the bass bite, are we having to really start looking like we're moving into the backs of the pockets and looking for spawning fish there for the bass on Neely?
That's what everybody's telling me, that these fish are getting in the backs of the pockets, and like you said, from dirt to 2 foot, you know, just they're laying up in there shallow. They're getting ready to do their thing. A lot of the fish are getting way on back in there. And I may have to get the net for a second. Hang on just 1 second.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll let you go. That's good information. Go net that client's crappie, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Hey, thank you for having me, and I'll talk to you next week. I appreciate it.
Well, that'll do it for our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, April the 16th, presented by Mercury. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for following along. And most importantly, thanks to the guys for sharing everything that they do to help all of us put a few more fish in our boat. Don't forget to come on by and see us. We've got the parts you need, the tackle you need, the service, which we know you don't want to necessarily have to do it, but we're here to help you. And then, of course, you can talk to the salespeople and see if we can help you find that boat you've been looking for. We appreciate everything, and we will talk to you again next week.